Are you booked and busy, feel stuck behind the chair, overwhelmed, burned out, and you feel like you should be further ahead than you are? I think I have the answers to why you might feel that way. I used to feel that way, especially in the beginning of my career. I finally realized after reflecting on the past that there were 4 mistakes that I did that it could have got me like 10 years ahead of the game had I not been doing any of that. So today I want to share those 4 mistakes that may be keeping you behind the chair longer than you need to. So I'm Mo, the founder of Go Sleek Hair Company, and I have built a business that allows me the freedom to spend time with my family and not be stuck behind the chair. Let's jump right into it. The first mistake I made was poor financial habits. Okay? I think we've all been there. I know I have. I'm not going to act like I ain't used to be a hot mess when it comes to my finances. But in the beginning of my career, and I'm going to say the first 10 years of my career, when I tell you, I would work 10 to 12 hours a day, do 15 people. I'm standing on my feet all day. I might make $1,000 or $1,500 a day. And guess what I did? On a Saturday, especially if I was going to hang out with my friends, I went straight to the mall and I spent at least 90% of what I made. And the mindset I had was, oh, I'll make it right back, right? You think you're going to get clients to book? You can make the money right back. Well, what if you end up having a slow week next week and you don't make the money right back, right? You have spent it on material things. And that is something that I kept doing, and I did it for so long. I don't know what I was thinking. The more I think back on it, I can punch myself because I wasted so much money on things that it didn't mean nothing. It had no value. And when it was time for me to either, make a large purchase, like buy a home, or reinvest back into my business, I did not have the money. There was a time where I wanted to buy a house. I needed to buy a house because I was going through a divorce and I didn't have the money. So I was selling purses and stuff to be able to come up with the down payment for my house. So you don't want to be in a predicament like that. So if you are booked and busy now and you're already making the money, definitely make sure you're setting aside a portion for savings or investments and not just blowing it all. And then another thing I think about, there was a time where I had a house, a condo, and 3 cars. Stupid girl, why do you have all of that, right? And I realized that, okay, I wanted to reinvest back in my business, but when I did my budget sheet and I had all these stupid extra things, I had to get rid of it. It didn't make sense. I cannot drive 3 cars at one time, and I cannot sleep at 2 places at one time. So one of them had to go, right? So long story short, I had to live below my means. You do not have to spend every dime that you make. And the biggest thing is, it's not about how much money you make. It's about how much money you keep. So you want to be mindful with that. So I want to challenge you and give you a tip to create a budget. Go get your bank statements, go through it and see where your money is going. What are you spending your money on? And ask yourself, is this a good use of my money, right? Am I spending my money on the right thing? Are you eating your money up? Are you shopping all the time? Maybe you're a giver. Maybe you're giving your money away. Giving is good. I like that. But you got to make sure that you have something set aside for yourself and for your future. So just be mindful of that. But get you a budget sheet. Start taking an audit of where you are spending your money, right? And just be truthful with yourself and decide, okay, what needs to go, what can stay, and what do I want to reinvest back into my future? All right. But listen, it wasn't just about where I was spending my money. The next mistake was who I was spending my time with, right? So now you want to evaluate your relationships. I know for me, and this might be a little bit controversial, but I have always been able to go further and grow more when I was single. I'm not saying y'all need to be single. If you got a boyfriend and he's good to you, stay with him. But when I was single, I was just able to do so much more just because I didn't have to like split my time between nurturing the relationship and nurturing my business, nurturing myself. Like, it's a lot, right? You have to split your time up between all those people. So when I was single, I was able to get further ahead. If you're in a good relationship, stay there. But secondly, your friends, like your girlfriends, right? Are you hanging out a lot? Are you, I don't know, drinking, partying? Nothing wrong with drinking. I do have my champagne, from time to time. But when I think back on when I was younger, I had a full clientele, but I also hung out a lot, right? And I think at the end of the day, it hinders your creativity, you're tired, you're burned out even more because you're not getting the proper rest, right? If you're hanging out a lot, your friends want you to like, I don't know, just be partying all the time. Just be mindful and ask yourself, does this help me grow as an individual? And will me, if I'm hanging out and drinking all the time, will this help me? Will this help my business grow? And to be honest with you, it likely will not. And I've heard people say, well, no, I'm not even gonna say I heard people say, I have said this before in my younger days, like, oh, if I go out, I'm just networking. No, you're not networking. You're partying. And if you really want to elevate in your life, you got to think about what does that version of, that CEO me that, is successful, what does she look like and what does she do? And 9 times out of 10, she is not hanging out all the time. And if you do have friends, you want to make sure that they help you level up in your career. So I want to challenge you to write down 5 people that you talk to the most, that you spend the most time with, and ask yourself, do they truly help you grow, right? What are you doing with these people? What are the conversations that y'all are having? And is it helping you? And if it's not helping or benefiting you and it's taking from you, then, you might have to go cold turkey on those people. That's how I do. I go cold turkey. But if you feel like you need to have a talk with them and tell them why you can't hang out with them anymore, you can, but it's not for anybody to understand why you decided not to hang out with them anymore. Just go cold turkey and focus on you and growing your business and growing just mentally, physically, and spiritually on your own. And while I was busy trying to grow my business, having the wrong people around me, all the noise, I was also making another mistake. And that was like hiding, playing small, being afraid to show up, get in front of the camera and post my work and my gifts online. I think it was a limiting mindset where I told myself, oh, they might not like how I talk, or they might not like how I sound, or they might not like how I look. And honestly, none of that matters. Like, people will like you for you. And if you have a gift, you do good work, you have a great personality, show up, like, let the world see who you are and what you can do. And it was back in maybe 2017, I realized that if I don't get on this camera and start posting more of my work, I'm not going to have any clients. My business is not going to grow, and I'm going to remain stagnant. So I started in 2017, recording more content. And honestly, I was scared. I don't think I even talked on that content. I think I just created the video and then I would chop it up. But the more and more I started to create the content, I got really great feedback. And then I eventually got comfortable with talking. I'm still working on that now, honestly. Like, I still stumble a lot on camera when I have to talk. I want to challenge you to just show up, right? Try to be consistent, even if it's one time a week. Create the video, post it in your story, post it on your feed, something. Just show up so that you can start getting a little bit more comfortable with it. They're not going to find you if you're never posting. So now here's the thing. Even though you may show up more online, like I was doing, I was showing up more, there was still one more thing that was keeping me behind. And I feel like that mistake was listening to other people, like letting somebody else's belief system become my belief system. And I remember in the beginning of my career, I thought I wanted a hair salon. It was just a brief thought, right? But the stylists that I worked around, a few of them said, you don't want to get a hair salon. It's a lot of work. Like, it's just stressful. Like, it's not worth it. So for 10 years, I told myself I didn't want to open a hair salon. But the more like I got into my career, like around that 10th year, I was like, hold on, I don't want to be behind the chair forever. There has to be a exit. Like, there has to be a way out. And had I continued with that mindset of, oh, I don't want to open a hair salon because it's too much work, I would still be somewhere renting a booth or, you know, somewhere else in somebody's commission salon. And that just didn't make sense to me. So it's kind of like all the pieces started to fall into place. The further along I got into my career and I stopped thinking about or listening to what someone else told me would be hard, because their hard is not my hard, right? Now that I'm into it, like, I thoroughly enjoy building a business and just coming up with strategies on how to grow my brand and stuff like that. So I'm so glad I stopped listening to other people. I want to challenge you to write down every dream or vision that you have. Forget about what anybody else has to say about it. If God gave you the vision, that means you're supposed to follow through on it. And honestly, as a matter of fact, I wouldn't even tell anybody what my vision is. I've learned to do that because you might tell somebody your vision and they'll either start praying against you. Hopefully you don't have those people around you, which we live in a cruel world, but they'll start praying against you, or they will talk you out of it with their opinion. So it does not matter what other people think. If you have a dream or a goal, just write it down and get to work on it. God gave you that vision for a reason, and you got to go out there and get it. So the woman you want to become is on the other side of you starting to create, like, have better habits, financial habits, better behavior, better decision making. Like, you have to become a different version of yourself if you really want change in your life. And I know you could do it. So if this video spoke to you, make sure you like this video, subscribe to our channel, and I will catch you the next time.